I think Umar closed at like minus 1,000. And during the fight, he looked like he should have been fighting at minus 10,000 because that's how dominant of a display that he put on. The striking, phenomenal, man. The dexterity in his lead leg is incredible. His wrestling is smothering. Nate Maness, unfortunately, had to fight not to get embarrassed. He had to fight not to get submitted or finished as opposed to fighting to win. So this is a double-edged sword, I guess you should say, for Umar Nurmagomedov. On one hand, bro, what is he now? 15-0, right? Let me look at it. Is he 15-0? Yes, 15-0. He's smashing everybody. Unfortunately, his 3-fight finish streak in the UFC has come to a halting screech thanks to Nate Maness here. But it's really hard to finish your opponent when they're not trying to fight you back like that, right? So the double-edged sword that I see here is that Umar is almost too dominant for his own good, meaning that if all of his fights continue from this point on, like the fighters know, all right, man, I need to not get embarrassed here. It's not going to be a stunning display. He's not going to be able to use that showmanship. You're not going to be able to get the finishes, right? Therefore, can you be a viable main card fighter, an exciting main card fighter, if this is how all your fights play out, if it's not even competitive like this? So that's my question to you. Like, the good side, he's almost too good for his own good, but the bad side is that might make him less and less of a draw. What do you think?
Especially with the lack of vocalness on the mic, the lack of call outs. And, the Khabib camp is going to be doing all they can to kind of get that going because they saw how detrimental that was to Islam's career. Or at least not detrimental, but took him a lot longer than it should have to get where he's at. And I think the same thing's going to run into Umar right here. Nobody's going to want to fight him. One, he's a mauler. He's absolutely dominant. Two, he's not really going to do much for the fight, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to be doing extra press conferences or hyping up, getting the media involved, getting the crowd going, everything like that. So it's really a double-edged sword with how good this dude is for the fact that nobody's going to want to fight him, as well as, it's a very hard sell to anyone else, if you will. So I agree with you. I see the double-edged sword as well, Derek. But I mean, other fighters have gotten past it. So it is possible for Umar to do the same thing. I just think it's going to be a little bit longer of a road than he's expecting. What about you?
Yeah, I'd have to agree, man. And this is a dude who's saying that I'm ready to fight for the championship. He's saying that if you line me up against the champion right now, I will dismantle, I will demolish him. And I mean, let's be honest, who's the champion right now in his weight class? It's Aljamain Sterling. So is Umar ready? I don't know, but I do know between Khabib, Umar, and Usman Nurmagomedov, I believe they're like 58-0 combined, bro. So in terms of the grand scheme, the grand plan of the Nurmagomedov takeover that Abdulmanap, I believe, Habib's dad, like his whole entire grand scheme, I think it's coming to fruition, which is kind of the beautiful thing. But Khabib is being the guy who's kind of running the shots now. So Umar, man, I just thought it was crazy because when it came down to the wrestling exchanges, it almost felt like it was like he didn't have to try too much, man. He's just holding him down. He's like, all right, man, I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to wait for you to make a mistake, and then I'm going to submit you. However, the mistake never got made for Nate Maness. It came close a couple of times, man, where he's mounting him, he's doing these things. But at the end of the day, just a dominating, smothering win where Umar ultimately got the decision prop, man. Rough. Plus 175. So for all of us plus 100 submission prop bettors, man, yeah, rough night at the office for us. But I guess I want you to comment on that last piece real fast, AJ. Obviously, the man I think is top 15 ready, obviously, right? But is he championship ready, or are we blowing our horns a little too early on this guy?
I think we might be blowing the horns a little bit too early, just slightly, a little bit too early. Because if he was championship ready, you should be able to finish a guy even if he's not, making the mistakes. You should be able to put him into some places where he's forced to make a mistake and then capitalize on that. Could really control the entire fight from start to finish. And as much as you can argue Umar was doing exactly that, controlling the fight from start to finish, I don't have the control time numbers up, but I'm sure I'm sure, yeah, 10, almost 11 minutes control time in a 15-minute fight. This dude is controlling basically from start to finish. But I just think he's 2 or 3 fights away from being to that caliber of championship fighter. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like just right on that cusp. I wouldn't push it too hard, but right there.
Well, that's the problem, man. Everybody wants to fight him just because of his last name, honestly, because of the Nurmagomedov name. But it's just going to be a tough outing, man. It's going to be a tough outing, especially because if he wants to sit there and strike at distance with you, he can knock your head off. And if he wants to just hold you on the ground, he can do that too. So big win by Umar Nurmagomedov. I expect big things in the future. This is the time now. Now that you beat Nate Maness, no more of these kind of, Nate Maness is a great challenge, but you know what I'm saying. Give him the top 15 fighters. Throw a number next to this dude. Get him on a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. So big win by Umar Nurmagomedov. And